In this video, I'm going to show you how to work with footnotes and endnotes. I've opened up the Book Review Harry Potter 2 file. Now, book notes and endnotes are both ways of citing your sources, and they both require exactly the same information, which is all of the publishing information and the page number of your source. Now, I'm going to start with footnotes. Footnotes are indicated in your text with superscript numbers, and then the corresponding information, the citing information that goes along with that footnote is at the bottom of the page. Now, with an endnote, it's almost the same. The difference is that endnotes are listed at the end of the document instead of on the bottom of the page that the superscript number appears on. Now, the process for inserting a footnote and an endnote into a document is also pretty much the same. I'm going to scroll to the first page where I have writing, and I'm going to insert a footnote after the last sentence in the second paragraph. Now, footnotes and endnotes are both inserted after the punctuation. So I put my cursor after the period in this sentence. To access footnotes and endnotes, I would click on the References tab, and I have this footnotes group. I'll do a footnote first. So I just click the Insert Footnote button. I immediately see my superscript number, and I also have this line and a superscript number that corresponds with the one I have in my text. And this is where I put my publishing information for the source I'm going to cite. So I've copied mine, and I'm just going to paste it in. So that's my first footnote. Now, if I go on to put another footnote using the same source, I don't have to include all the information that I included the very first time I inserted that footnotes information. For any subsequent footnotes for that very same source, all I have to do is put the author's last name, a shortened title, and the page number that the information came from. So I'm going to demonstrate that by going to the top of the next page. I'm going to click after my punctuation and insert another footnote. Notice my superscript now says 2. And then down here, I'm going to type my author's last name, shortened title, and a page number, all separated by commas. So those are footnotes. And I also want to point out that if a footnote is present and you've entered the information for that footnote at the bottom of your page, you can hover over it, and then that information shows up in a little window. Now, when you're writing a document, it's best practice to choose either footnotes or endnotes so you can be consistent and your document can have a more polished look. So I'm just going to hit undo a couple of times and undo my footnotes. And I'm going to insert endnotes and show you the difference. So I would put my cursor in the same spot after the period, and then I just go to my References tab, and then I have this option, Insert Endnote. So I click there. In my writing, you can see my little superscript number. And then immediately I was bumped to the bottom of the document with the corresponding superscript number where I enter in my information. So I'm just going to paste it in again. And then I'm going to add another endnote somewhere else in my document. I will do it right here where I did before. So I'm just going to click where I want it to go. I'm going to choose Insert Endnote. It should have given me a number 2. I think it's a Roman numeral 2. There it is. And then it bumped me to the end of my document where I should enter the appropriate information. So I'm just going to type it. And now if I go back to where my endnotes were entered and I hover, I can see the endnote that I've entered. Now, I also want to point out in your footnotes group, you have 2 more buttons. You've got the next footnote, and if you click that drop arrow, it's just a navigation tool. So it'll take you, like if I go back in my document before my endnotes, and then I use this navigation tool, it'll take me to the next endnote, which is right there, and then the next one or previous. So it's just a navigation tool. And the show notes allows you to jump to footnotes or endnotes in your document. So it just takes you there. So that's about it for footnotes and endnotes.